We are doing a mock draft here. It's a 7-round mock draft for you folks on this Saturday. Hopefully you're having a good weekend. We're going to get into it for sure. This is my 3.0. Before we get started into this mock draft, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you want mock drafts, you want more mock drafts. We do them in this off season. Let's get this video started. Before we jump into the selections, I place down the needs for the Detroit Lions for this draft. After, a big part of free agency has taken over, I still believe that the Detroit Lions have a big need, a need at edge rusher opposite of Aiden Hutchinson entering this NFL draft. That is something they need to get taken care of here coming shortly. Offensive line, I do think, is a significant need in the interior as we don't have Kevin Zeitler anymore. Kayode Eosika is gone. Defensive tackle, we have issues with injuries to Aleem McNeil. Levan Uzurike has been injured throughout his tenure. Joshua Pascal, he's a tweener, but we definitely need some depth there. And DJ Reader, he's holding it down right now. We do need depth at the safety position. I think the Lions need to look into this draft and pick up a player that can help out. And wide receiver. Why? Well, Tim Patrick is 30 years old. He's on a one-year deal. And I think there's some wide receivers out that the Lions could look at for, adding to this football team. Here is the rules that I've set up personally for this mock draft. So, I use the PFF mock draft simulator. I think that's really important for me, at least, to do it this way, so there's not like I'm just getting all the best players. I repeated the mock draft 5 times to get an accurate player where they're going to be at. So generally speaking, such as an example for the 28th pick, I did it 5 times. Generally speaking, same players were in the same area. This is not what I think that I want the Lions to do. This is what I think that the Lions will do. This is what I think they will do, not what I want. This is what I think they're going to do. And in this mock draft, there's going to be no trades. We're just doing the selected picks. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Let's get into the first selection. And with the first pick, the Detroit Lions, and I have pick Grey Zabel, offensive lineman out of North Dakota State University. He has had a 30 visit with the Detroit Lions. There is a need with the offensive line, and when I did this mock draft, multiple times, a pass rusher that I felt like the Lions would pick at 28 just wasn't there. A player or players that I wanted, it just felt like it was a little bit of a reach. So I decided to go offensive line to not make this a reach. And Zabel is a really good lineman. He will bring a lot of potency, strength, ferocity to the offensive line. It's going to bring stability with the departures of some of the players, and it's going to bring youth, as you can tell that the Lions offensive line is starting to get a little bit older. And with the 60th pick in my mock draft, I have the Detroit Lions taking pass rusher Jack Sawyer out of Ohio, and I think it's really important the Lions go ahead and beef up that pass rush position, and Jack Sawyer can do that. This year he's had 25 solo tackles, 9 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, 1 interception. He's a guy, he has a never-ending motor. He's gonna go after it 24/7. He's not the most athletic guy or the most athletically gifted pass rusher in this year's draft, but he has the mentality of Dan Campbell. He's visited with them in the draft, and I fully expect him to have a 30 visit for this football team. I consider Jack Sawyer the pass rusher of Jack Campbell, right? A player who I really identified early, and I think that the Lions like him. The mentality and everything that goes in with what you're trying to get in Detroit, and he brings that. There could have been other pass rushers the Lions could have selected, but the reason I went, again, with Zabel and then here with Sawyer is because I just felt like the player at the position was available right at 28, and I wanted to get a pass rusher here, and he was available, and I thought it would be a match made in heaven. With the next selection, round 3, the Detroit Lions are going to go with defensive tackle Shermar Turner. 6'4", 300 pounds out of Texas A&M, defensive tackle here. Now, look, he doesn't have the greatest stats. He's a defensive tackle. He's a guy that's going to help out the interior of the defensive lines. He's got 20 solo tackles, 2 sacks, 1 forced fumbles, interceptions. He helped stop the run while he's getting to the quarterback. The Lions need to beef up the defensive line all around. I do think defensive tackle is a want/need because we talk about Ali McNeil, the injury that he sustained. We've seen the savagery that happened to the Detroit Lions defensive line. This is a tweener. He can play edge and interior, and as you know, Brad Holmes, they love those type of players in Detroit. That's what they do. For a third-round pick, not too bad. He's coming in to the Lions and giving that depth on that defensive line that we need. Broderick Martin, I don't think is going to work out. I just have a feeling he's probably not going to make the roster. If he doesn't, that's another player, right? That's another spot that you need a depth at defensive tackle. He just hasn't developed. And if he hasn't developed by now, or even, if they believe he hasn't developed by now, and considering with the injuries and the lack of the defensive line, this makes sense to go with defensive tackle right there. In my opinion, it makes sense. So I want you guys to grade the mock draft so far. A, B, C, D, or F. Give me your grade in the comments below. In round 4, the Detroit Lions going to go with wide receiver Pat Bryant. Why is that? Because we do need a receiver. 6'3", 200 pounds. Lions have met with Pat Bryant at the Combine. Just an FYI. They met with him. They like him. He's the tall, bigger receiver, 6'3". That's what they want. They wanted to get the bigger guy. And I think he could develop this year, maybe get a couple snaps, and then become Tim Patrick in 2026. This is what he's done this year. 54 receptions, 984 yards, 10 touchdowns, and an average of 18.2. I think he legitimately could be Tim Patrick. Tim Patrick. This is a Patrick Star player that you're coming in, and he's giving you the younger production of him. Again, he may not be getting a lot of snaps this year, right? But that's okay, because we know he would come in and be the number 3 for the 2026 season. He could develop, he'll probably get some snaps, and then he can take a much bigger role. And also, we don't know what's going on with Jameson Williams. Is he going to be good? Is he going to be, are the Lions going to bring him back? I think they will for sure, but we don't 100% know. And injuries. What if there is injuries to the wide receiver core? Last year, we got lucky with the lack of injuries. You can't count on that every year. And I think that he can come in here and help out this offense and Jared Goff and develop into a quality receiver for this team going forward. I like the size. I like his catch radius. And I think he can be a really good pick for the Detroit Lions in round 4. Keep an eye on Pat Bryant. This is what I think the Detroit Lions are going to do. Let's go ahead and jump into the later rounds. Now we're going to go with a player here who I have the Detroit Lions getting, and that is Hunter Waller. Yeah, that's right. We're going with a safety here, 6'2", 218 pounds of Wisconsin. We need to get depth at the safety position. Now, this is a player you're definitely going to develop in the later rounds here, the 6th. He has 51 solo, 0 forced fumbles, 0 receptions, and 6 pass defense. This is a developmental player for the secondary. That's what it is. Developmental player. We don't need a starter at this point. Kirby Joseph, Ryan Branch. We just need to get a guy that could develop. That's really it. Waller's got a lot of developing to do. He's not ready to play right now. That's okay. But he is a dog. He's going to fight. He's going to scrap. He's going to hit you hard. He's going to put everything he can. That's what he's going to do. And the Lions can get him, develop him, take their time. No need to rush at the safety position, and put him on when he needs to be put on. Obviously, if there's injuries, there's injuries. But to this point, at least to while I'm recording this video, we have not signed a depth safety in free agency. We just haven't done that yet. I'm not saying that we won't. Maybe it's happened while I'm recording this video because I'm recording on a Friday. It hasn't happened as of yet. And I think they're going to go into the draft and get that position built in depth. And it makes a lot of sense. Kirby and Brian Branch are already veterans. They've been around the block. They're going to get paid buku money. Get a guy to develop to sit behind them. Now grade my mock draft. A, B, C, D, or F. Give me your thoughts in the comments right now. In round 7, we are going with Jackson Hayes, tight end out of Georgia Tech, 216 pounds, 6'5", senior there. This guy right now, he's got some clunky hands. 16 receptions, 195 yards, 12.2. Hasn't done a lot. He can block. That's good. This is a developmental tight end. The Lions have brought in tight ends for the NFL Combine visit. They've met with tight ends. We've seen the situation with the back end. We're excluding Sam Laporta. We're talking about like the Shane Zylstras, right? The back end. This would be a back end tight end for the Lions. You're not going to see a starter here. He'll come in and compete. See if he can even make the roster at this point. That's what it is, you know. So it's hard to do when you're talking about a 7th round draft pick. You're talking about players and what they possibly could be, not what they are, because that's the bottom line. They're just not like that. And my last pick for the Detroit Lions here in the 7th round, we're going to Karan Reed, linebacker out of Utah, undersized linebacker, but he is a 4-year starter, senior there, and he's done. He is leader of that team. Not a lot of there. 29 solo tackles, 3 sacks, 0 forced fumbles, 0 interceptions. Again, undersized linebacker. Even smaller, I'd say, the size of Malcolm Rodriguez, but we've taken a chance on a Malcolm Rodriguez, so why not here? Again, this would just to compete, special teams, end of the roster, nothing crazy for developmental. And the reason I went linebacker is they have brought in linebackers. That's really it. It's hard to identify 7th round draft picks, especially developmental players for this football team. But give me your thoughts on my mock draft. Do you think that it's realistic? Grade it. If you think it sucks, let me know that you think it sucks. If you think it's an F grade, it's an F grade. So just give me your thoughts on this one. I'm curious to see what you think. Yeah, let me know. With that said, adios.